Okay, my name is actually Corieene. Not
Corieene.
Corinne.
Corieene.
Yeah. So a little background on me is I'm studying to be a dietitian, but my topic has nothing to do with my major or anything. So I'm gonna talk about bilingual education. In 1998, California passed Prop 227, which would do away with bilingual education, such as commonly known as ESL. So my main claim today is that ESL, Bilingual Educational Program, has a negative effect on California educational programs such as Prop 227, Sheltered English Immersion Classroom. That's what it's called under the prop. So my first supporting claim is that the ESL, bilingual education, negatively affects students in the public educational school system. My second supporting claim is that educators in favor of having the ESL program back into the school system, who want the ESL program back into the school system, are now obligated to structure their classrooms as if the next school year may not have funding available for this new Prop 227, which is the Sheltered Immersion English Program. And then my next supporting claim will be ESL, bilingual education, has been non-existent for, as you can tell, since 1998, for quite a few years, and that educators actually like this program and do not want to go back to the ESL educational program. So let's go back to my first supporting claim. The ESL, bilingual education program, has a negative effect on California's educational programs, such as educational program in the school system. As you can see, in regards to student test scores, the classroom curriculum for the Sheltered English Immersion Classroom they have gone up in reading in about 10 points, but in the schools that still have the ESL program, they have actually only done 6 points, which are 4 points below the Prop 227 educational program. And then in regards to the Prop 227, you're allowed to test the student to get out of the program after the year and be able to get fully immersed into the English mainstream program. But the ESL program doesn't allow you to do that, which an educational teacher actually said, Carrie Allen, that students will remain socially isolated and this will allow them to drop out of school. And so this brings me to the next point, that the ESL program, that if it doesn't allow you to test out of it, it doesn't prepare the student for a mainstream English education in a classroom, which sometimes the funding gets taken away, and so once they get immersed into that program, they have no idea what they're learning or what they're doing. So that brings me to my second supporting claim, which is educators in favor of having the ESL program back into the school system are now obligated to structure their classrooms as if next school years may not have funding for this Sheltered Immersion English program, which is Prop 227. So a lot of the educators and teachers will have this thing, it's called a test waiver for the parents, which allow the parents to waive the option for their kids to get tested out of the program. And so a lot of the educators, in order to keep the funding, will have the parents, pressure the parents into signing this waiver so they can keep it. But at the same time, this type of uncertainty for the funding allows the educators to prepare the student to be immersed into an English-only classroom setting, which is better for them because they're on the same track as the person who is in an English setting program. And then now my third supporting claim is ESL, bilingual education, been non-existing for quite some time. Most educators don't want to go back to the ESL, bilingual education program. So I read a book, it's called Taking Sides. A lot of the teachers were asked this question over and over again. Would you go back to the teaching of ESL or would you stay in the one that you're in now? And they have said, no, bilingual education is a good theory, but it has a lot of problems as for the student in regards to them getting, in regards for them to further in their education in the English classroom setting. So in conclusion, ESL, the educational program, has a negative effect on Prop 227, sheltered English immersion in the classroom. In regards to this program, in regard to the ESL program, having lower test scores in the classroom, it doesn't prepare for the students to be immersed into the only English classrooms, and it also causes a lot more problems in the educational system for the teachers in regards to the students succeeding and learning more in the classroom. Thank you.
Right, Corieene, the proposition is identified, but it is very convoluted, and I'm not quite clear on what it is, especially at the beginning of the speech, that the argument is going to come down in favor of. In the long run, there's an argument that says immersion programs versus non-immersion programs, and you're in essence saying that the non-immersion, or that the immersion programs, as opposed to the sheltered immersion programs, are the ones that work better. Right. That's so much clearer than what you said. I'm sorry, and I'm not even sure I got it right. So I think that's a problem, and it gets worse with the secondary claims, because you've got secondary claims that are 3 sentences long that have conditional parts built into them that have me questioning, okay, ultimately what's being said here. And I had to look back, and I looked at the outline that you did. Yeah, and I'm going, what you had originally, bilingual education encourages English speakers to be spoken in the student household, and I'm going, that's not a very clear claim. You got to simplify these things. It's just immersion programs, or sheltered immersion is less effective than immersion programs. Sheltered immersion programs are sustained only by desire for funding. And, there is no desire or no movement from teachers to return to sheltered immersion programs. There. Those are your claims, really. Everything else is just complicated, and it's easy to get lost in all of that confusing phrasing. Some of the evidence is okay, but there are places where there are big assertions. So you mentioned, I guess there's an argument that says basically under 227, they're supposed to get rid of those programs unless there is an exemption signed, and that the sheltered immersion programs are kind of manipulating the parents into keeping them in place just for the purpose of keeping the funding, but that those programs are less effective. This is basically an argument that says we need to have 227 eliminate, or that the exemptions that 227 allowed are hurting the system. In other words, it's undermining the ability of 227 to improve education by allowing these exemptions to exist. That might be another way of making that particular claim. So I think if we wrestle with it, we'll figure out what your claim is, but we shouldn't have to be wrestling with it. As I said before, listeners are notoriously easily distracted, and people here are going to go, I don't know what's going on, so let me think about something else. And you know, half of the folks that are listening to you, they're already anticipating what they're going to have for dinner instead of, you know, what your argument is. So you got to be more to the point on that. And there's a lot of reading too that makes it complicated. That's the main issue that I have. The other things, there's a few bits and pieces here that need to be fixed, but that's the main issue.